Yeah. Assume everything is all right. Yeah. Some students, yeah, here I just, based on my experience before, some students, you may have the problem, port conflict. Yeah, here, let me point it out. Because you may already install some software services that use the same port. Yeah. Here on the screen, so here you can see on the screen, yeah, I put the XAMPP control panel here. Yeah, yeah, you know. So I double click it to start it. Yeah. All right, so when you see this window, we need to use two servers. Yeah. The first one, Apache server. Okay. Yeah. Click start button. Take some time, take a few seconds. When you see the ports, these two port numbers, first one 80, second one 443, then it's ready. Okay. But sometimes your port 80 could be occupied by, yeah, because when you took a few classes before, you may install some other software. Some other software may already install some server on this port. That could happen. If that happens, the solution is you need to change the port number. Okay? How to change? Click this config button. Config. Yeah. When you click this config button, yeah, you open that Apache configuration file. All right? Yeah. In a text editor. Okay, yeah. In a text editor, you can find there is one line about port number. Look at this line. Listen 80. See? Listen 80. So the server, by default, it listens at port 80. Well, you can change this number, right? Yeah. Because if it is occupied by some other service, you can change to a different number. Okay? Yeah. 90, yeah, just some number different. Okay? Yeah. But you need to know which number you use for Apache server. Yeah, you need to know it. Okay? All right. So then when you start a server, you need to specify that number. Okay? Yeah. Yeah. Specify. Yeah, later I talk about that. Later, when we bring up Apache server, yeah, I mentioned that how to use different port number. All right, yeah, that's the first step, because we need to access MySQL through a PHP application, web application. That PHP web application, we need to use this Apache server to power it, right? Yeah. How to run that web application? Apache server to run it. So that's the reason we need to start it first. Second, start MySQL server, database server. Yeah. If you see the port number 3306, yeah, it's ready. Yeah. But it could also happen, if you took some web technology classes before, this port number could also be occupied. Yeah, that could happen. It's rare. Yeah, but if that happens, so then you need to get around it. Yeah, using a similar idea. Okay. All right. Yeah. So here I assume everything is all right. Then let's start Apache server. The homepage of Apache server. How do you access server? You through web browser, you through some URL to access it. Yeah. So let me show you how to access it. Now, all right. So here in the web browser, here let me type the URL of Apache server. It's running on our local computer. So the domain name we call the localhost. Localhost is the domain name of the Apache server. Yeah. All right. So although, so you may need to type HTTP : all right, localhost. Okay, all right, here, that's it. That's all we need to do, because we use the port number 80. Port number 80 is the default, so you do not need to type the default port number. Okay, if it's 90, then you need to type it out. Okay, if it's 90, you need to type :90, enter. Okay, :90, non-default port number. You need to specify it. All right, so here, default, enter. Then it brings up XAMPP homepage. The default page, welcome, we call the welcome page. Okay, this is the Apache server welcome page. So we see, all the useful information or services provided by this XAMPP software bundle. But here we want to access one of them. Let me see. Here we need to access. All right, look at the bottom, tools, PHP admin, tools. This is the graphical user interface that we need to use for our MySQL. Okay, so for this class, I use this one. For some of the students, I know, based on my experience before, some of the students, they took Java web technology class before. They may use different tool to manage MySQL databases. If you like to use that, it's fine. So you can choose to do that. Different graphical user interface tool for MySQL. Because you're familiar with that, you just use that directly. Otherwise, you just use this way. Okay, if you never use other tools before, then I recommend this tool. Okay, all right. Now, let me show you the first thing. The first thing, I upload a simple database script in part P of module 1. Here, let me show you. Because some students, when I just talk, they may not know where to find it. Here, let me go to the module 1 here. Module 1, remember part P, help on project. Look at this file, animaldb.sql. You download this database script file in the appropriate folder. So for this class, you should have a folder, right? So go to some appropriate location in your local file system. Because later you need to find it. You need to open it in a text editor. Here, let me show you. Let me start from there. All right. Here, because I put this in my part D, so I look at this file, animaldb.sql. Its extension is SQL, but we know it's a text file. So we can use any text editor to open it. All right. So here, I right-click it. I just use my favorite text editor, Notepad++. Okay. open it, then you see the code. Okay, yeah, you see the SQL statements. Yeah, a lot of comments. These green lines, they are comments. Yeah, so yeah, just to give you some information. Yeah, so here we just leave there the comments. Yeah, but in order to execute, yeah, we need to run. So there are SQL commands. So we want to execute all these commands. There are two ways. Here, I talk about two ways we can do it in this. Yeah, let me switch to this place. Local, yeah, here, PHP my admin. Gavin Love, yeah, let me check your name quickly. Yeah. Yeah, later. Yeah, it's fine. I remember your name, so I'll do it later. Yeah, no. Yeah. All right. So in order to execute it, we need to create a database first, right? Yeah. At this point, we do not have a database. Yeah, we do not have a database. Okay, all right. And in my database script, let me show you the script again. In this database script, there is no statement, create database statement. If there is statement, create database, then you're fine. You just run it. But here in this file, I do not include create statement line. That means we need to manually create database. Yeah, so the first step, manually create the database. All right, type the database name. Yeah. Here, animal DB, because I already make many of them. Let me make my number 4. Yeah, for you, it's the first one. On my machine, I did it too many times. Yeah. All right, I just put a different name. Yeah. All right, number 4, create. Yeah, it's created. Number 4 is here. All right, you click it. Yeah. You click it. That means you select this database as our current database. You need to do the selection step. Otherwise, which database you are working on, right? You need to tell MySQL which database you want to work, right? If you do not select, MySQL does not know it, all right? Yeah, all right. Here, look at this tab, SQL tab. That's the command window. We can type SQL command here. You can type or you can copy paste. You can type or copy paste the commands here. All right? Yeah. Okay. So here, let me show you. Yeah. Let me show you one command. I type here. All right. Here, I want to change to a different database. I just want to show you command, SQL command typing. Okay. Here you can treat as a command window. Yeah. All right. So here I type use as a keyword. Yeah, MySQL keyword, use a different database name. Then you switch to a different database as the current one. Okay, use animal DB3. Yeah, here I want to jump to a different database. Okay, yeah. Then I need to click this button, go, to execute it. Now you see this line, database : animal DB3. Okay, just like you click it. But here we run the command to change the current database. Use database name. We change to a different command. Okay, yeah. Here, you know, this use is a MySQL keyword. Command name, keyword. That means, remember this keyword. If we define our table, if we happen to use the keyword, you know what you should do, right? It's a keyword. You need to do something special for a keyword. Okay, all right. So here, let me just click this animal DB4 back to our new database. This time, I want to execute the SQL scripts. I do copy paste because the command here, nobody wants to type, right? Yeah, so the good thing is we just do copy paste. Okay, yeah. Paste. All right, yeah. So everything here, we do not need to do anything. We just click the go button. Execute it. No error. Even no error message. It's successful. You click this database again, you see one table is created. Survey results table, one table. Browse button, you see the content of this table. Look at rows, number of 5 rows here. This table has 5 rows. Click a browse button, you see the data of this table. Data. Okay, all right. Then, yeah, when you click that browse button, you can see this SQL statement is executed automatically. Select star from table name, survey results. See? See? All right? Yeah. Yeah, but here, let me show you. I just type one query statement. All right. Okay. Where one, here, let me change. Where ID equals 3. How about that? Yeah. So we want to find the row with ID 3. Okay. Yeah. Go. Yeah. It will return ID 3 row. All right. So that's a simple example. Simple example. Okay. Yeah. And later in our class, because you need to write many SQL statements, sometimes you want to know if your SQL statement is correct or not. So you need to type here, run it, and see if the result is correct or not. Okay. Although you can type it in a text editor, so you can change. Yeah. For example, yeah, you can do it. Yeah, because some of the SQL statement quite long, quite long. You don't want every time you type from character by character from beginning to end, right? Because you need to change. You need to modify your SQL statement. So usually you can use a text editor. You type there. There you just copy, paste that long statement, execute it. If you find something wrong, you can come back and change, right? Then copy, paste back to the SQL window, execute it. Yeah, because nobody wants to type from beginning to end, right? You know, yeah, that's not efficient. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Here, the first view of, using this tool. Second, yeah, remember, I mentioned there are 2 different ways to execute the SQL scripts. Yeah. Here, I use copy paste to show you the first way. Second way, look at this. Yeah, here, let me show you more. Yeah. Look at the more, all right? Import. More, there is an import tab. Yeah. Okay, here, import. Yeah. Here, for the import, choose file. All right, choose file. Okay, no file. We click this button, choose file. We can find that .SQL script .SQL file. Yeah. Here, let me find that location. Yeah. Containing that. Yeah, here, this animaldb.sql. All right. So here, I do not do it because we already run it. Okay. Yeah. So here, the reason I show you is, think about, there is a situation. Your SQL script could be very large. very large. Think about it. Dozens of megabytes, that big. That could have, because, yeah, why we consider that? Because I have that experience myself. Yeah. Because I developed some web application that I need to use large amount of data. Yeah. So when I generate SQL scripts for that large table, because the data very large, so the size of the SQL script file could be dozens of megabytes, that big. In that way, you don't want to use text editor, open it, copy paste, right? You know, yeah, too big. Your buffer may not be that big, think about. Yeah, because when you copy, you put in the buffer, right? Your buffer has a limit. Okay? You cannot put too much data in that buffer. In that situation, this is a better way. Import. Choose file, find that location, click it, run it. Okay? Run it. Yeah, yeah. But here, there is one thing. Yeah. Max 2 megabytes, right? This number. If the file less than this 2 megabytes, then you have no problem. Yeah. But there is some other version here. This version relatively small. I remember I used some other version, also this exam version. I can do much larger. I can run, execute much larger version than this one. Here, only 2 megabytes. Not large enough. Yeah. I remember another larger version I used before, more than 100. 128 megabytes, that big. That should be good enough for a, you know, mid-sized business, right? Yeah, not large business, mid-sized business should be fine. Yeah, this one, you know, here mainly for education, it's enough, right? 2 megabytes, but for the, you know, business, yeah, it may not be enough. Yeah, so you need to consider making this size larger. Yeah, yeah. All right. Anyway, yeah. So we get some, you know, our first view of our SQL environment. Yeah. Later, when we, you know, for this class, we need to write many SQL statements. That's the environment we will use. Okay. All right. Yeah. So that's this part. Yeah. Any question? Yeah. All right. Then so let's move to the notes. Yeah. Today's new lecture. Yeah. Oh yeah, new lecture. Yeah. The old one, I finished this demo part. Yeah. What I just did, yeah, this demo part. Yeah. Other commands I do not need to show you. Insert, update, delete. Yeah. So, yeah. Pretty straightforward. Yeah. I do not show. I need to. Yeah. Do not show you here. Yeah. All right. Now let's start module 2. Yeah. Basics of database management systems. Yeah. Part A, more on databases and DBMS. We have many important concepts we need to learn. Yeah. In module 1, yeah, we just learned some very beginning basic concepts. Yeah. This one, we need to learn a few more advanced concepts. Yeah. All right, 8.2, basic database concepts. Okay. All right. Yeah. Yeah. So let's learn a few new concepts one by one. All right. First, we define a database. Yeah. All right. How to specify a database. Yeah. So what information you need to provide? Yeah. All right. First, let's assume we create a database, a blank, empty database. Yeah. So remember, we run the SQL statement. Create database name, that SQL statement, you execute it. Then you get a new database. It's a blank one. After that, then you need to, when you define tables, the basic unit of a database, here, relational data, DBMS, relational database, tables. So here we need to define table by table. So what you need to do in the table? Structure, rows. Oh, sorry, yeah, here. I need to do here. Yeah, because if I use this place, some features are disabled. Yeah, that's my experience before. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, the structure. Typically, the structure you need to provide the column information. Yeah. Column information. Yeah. Typically, yeah. Yeah. Define column or fields. Yeah. Define table fields as the structure. But inside each table field, you need to describe the data type. Integer data type, string data type, yeah, and other data types. Yeah, different data types. All right. Other than that, constraints of data. Constraints, you may need to apply some special conditions, right? Constraints. Yeah. Here, let me just give you a few examples. For example, the constraint, one example, not null. We saw this before. Okay? This data piece cannot be null. Yeah. When you enter the input, data input, you cannot leave this there. You cannot make the DBMS, yeah, because DBMS, if there is no value provided, it could use the null value. So you need to be aware of it. Yeah. Not null, you cannot use null value here. Okay, null value is very special. This null value, later we will spend a lot of time to talk about the properties of this null value. Yeah. 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 Very special. Yeah. Not null is another constraint, like unique constraint. Unique. Look at that. Sorry. Unique. Yeah. Yeah. Because usually we use capital. Okay. Unique constraint. What's the meaning of that? Yeah. Because here, when you do this, you are for one field. Okay. You are for one field, one of the fields. Here, unique here means for that particular field, only that field. All rows, all the values in all rows must be unique. Okay, here, because field corresponds to one column, right? Column, there are many rows. Yeah. 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 So all these values, let's say value 1, value 2, value 3, and so on, right? Yeah. If you specify unique keyword, then all these values must be distinct. Okay? Cannot be duplicated. Must be unique. Okay? Yeah. Because you put this constraint on it. Yeah. Sometimes we need it. All right? Sometimes we need this constraint. Okay? Yeah. Yeah. Here I just give you simple examples. So we need to put, several different constraints for our data. Yeah. After that, yeah, although there are many more, yeah, after that, we define one table completely. That's just for one table. We're done. Okay. You can see in our table definition, there is no data. We just describe the data, right? Yeah. What we are doing here, we describe our data properties. We describe it. But table is blank. Now, after you run this SQL statement, the table is created, but it's an empty table. No data inside. Now, in order to put data inside, you need to run insert statement. In order to add data, you need to run a sequence of insert statements. Insert statements. Then you can populate the table, right? Populate the table with data. Yeah, think about that. Okay. Basic steps you need to do. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Next. Metadata concept. Metadata. Yeah. Just the terminology here. Metadata, the meaning. Yeah. In your web pages, sometimes you see that metadata, right? Oh, meta something, meta dash something. Yeah. Meta. What's the meaning here in this context? Our, technology, this context. Metadata means descriptive data for data. Because you have your destination data. Yeah. You have the data you want to work on. Okay. So this type of data we call the primary data. That's your main business data. The primary data, you use it for your business. For your business, all right? Primary data, all right? And this descriptive data, that's not your business data, all right? So that's secondary data. Or you can treat it as supporting data. Support your business data. And here, descriptive. Because we want to provide extra information. It's different from business data, completely different. But we need to use it to support our business data. How to support? We use it to add some extra properties on our business data. That's the meaning. So we call it metadata. Okay? We need it. Metadata. Two parts. All right? Two parts. Data. All right. Then it's content. Then, so after you understand this metadata concept, then you want to ask, what's inside? What's the content of metadata? Here, you see, refers to database definition. Everything what you see here, that's the, about table definition. Okay? Because here, database definition, we mean definition of all the tables in the database. Okay? Yeah. Database definition. What do you mean database definition? definition of all the tables in this database. That's the meaning. Okay? All right. Stored by the DBMS in the form of a database catalog or dictionary. Let me explain this sentence. Yeah. In my next slide, I will use a picture diagram to explain it. So you will see the visual arrangement for this part. Yeah. All right. Metadata is stored in the appropriate location by the DBMS. Okay, DBMS, it will find the, appropriate location in the hard drive, in your hard drive, to store the metadata, separated from your business data. Okay? Your business data stored somewhere, metadata stored, different place, appropriate location. Okay, in the form of database catalog. Because when you store, you need to store in a special form, right? Here, there is a concept called a catalog concept. Database catalog. Catalog. So, the general catalog, right? Here, database catalog similar to the general catalog because we want to list our databases one after another in an organized way. In our catalog, it's an organized way to arrange all the databases running inside this DBMS. Another word called dictionary. Okay? Dictionary. But usually we use this catalog terminology. Later we will learn more details about this concept, catalog. Okay, all right, database system. This time, database system concept. Now, what's the database system concept? Database and the DBM software together. DBMS, database management system, software. It's part of the database system. But you also need to include the database itself together. Okay? So that's the database system. All right. Here, the picture, the diagram. Here, this simple picture gives you some visual understanding of all the main components that we need to understand in our mind. So we like to have a picture, visual understanding. All right. User programmer, we are here. So we are here. Okay. Then we need to communicate with DBMS. So do the queries to manipulate our business data. Through what? Okay, So through some interface, right? Through some interface. Because you may not be able to work on those databases directly, right? Think about we as programmers, we are different from DBAs, right? Remember the DBA concept I mentioned last time. Database administrators. Okay? They can work on database directly. We cannot. Okay? We're programmers. Okay? So we write a code. Okay? But we cannot work on the DBMS directly. So different roles. Here, not for DBA, so for us. Okay? So the interface we use, we write application programs to access database. Application programs, so here I use example. When I talk about application program, in this class, I want to use two different languages. One is Java, programs. Another PHP programs. Yeah. PHP, that's the main server-side programming languages. Yeah. But Java, I just talk. I may give you a few Java examples, but mainly I just talk. Okay. Yeah. Because they have different properties. These two languages, when we access databases, they use different methods. So I put here, I put them together for comparison. I want to do comparison, yeah, to expand your knowledge. Okay, yeah, because later you will have pretty good chance you need to access databases through Java, right? Yeah, here I just expand your knowledge, also covering the Java part a little bit. Yeah. All right, yeah. So here we do queries. Yeah, here we want to do queries inside these two different types of programs. Yeah. In our program statements, yeah, we embed query statements. Yeah, here, yeah. Think about this way. Yeah, we embed the query statements. Inside our program statements. Right? Yeah. So that's the basic idea. How to embed, later I will give you examples, through examples. Yeah. And actually the Java way, PHP way, they use two different ways. Yeah. Yeah. I will talk about that later. Yeah. Because today our time is very limited today. Yeah. So I need to go a little faster today. Yeah. All right. A lot of things I will expand later. Okay, yeah. All right, so then we can access DBMS. How to access? A lot of some details. You need to know URL of the DBMS, right? Yeah, think about it. To access DBMS, URL of the database. Right? You need that. Right? Yeah. Other than username, password, right? You need account, username, password, right? Yeah. All right. Other than that, all right. So username, password. Okay. Yeah. All right. There is one thing. So here I put in a parenthesis. Database driver. Database driver. Oh, yeah. Annoying. Database driver for Java. Okay. So here, if you use Java, you need to specify the database driver. But for PHP, you do not need. See the difference. Okay. Database driver, Java, you need to download database driver. and put it in the appropriate location. For PHP, we do not need. Okay, why? Yeah, so that's a long, deep question. So I have to delay. Yeah, I have to delay because we need to use a half of a class to explain that. One half of a class to explain clearly. Yeah. All right. So here you just need to know we need some information in order to access remote DBMS. Remote. Okay. Yeah. Because the general case, it could be local. It's fine, local. All right. Yeah. But here we imagine typically in the business world, we access our database remotely. All right. Yeah. Local, it's fine. Local, remote, the difference is just the URL different, right? You just change different URL. Local, we also use URL, right? Yeah. Local, remote through different URLs. All right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So then you can access DBMS. You can call DBMS to execute your SQL commands. Call, execute SQL commands. Okay, yeah. All right. So then you can do a lot of query statements in this way. Yeah. Here, we can run query statements in this way. Yeah. All right. Yeah. To do the business. Yeah. All right. So then the DBMS, after it receives your commands, SQL commands, DBMS executed. Yeah. Actually, DBMS, the commands, there is a step. Yeah. Compile the commands. SQL statement. That's a command, right? But when you have commands, the DBMS need to compile the command. Yeah, here, DBMS. Okay, yeah. Need to compile the SQL commands. See? Okay. Compile, make it executable, all right? After compilation, you get a machine code, right? Machine code, but for SQL commands, okay? Not your programming language commands. It's a SQL commands. Compiled becomes machine code, but inside of this machine, okay? Yeah. The database server machine, inside the database server machine, okay? All right, yeah. So then after that, all right, yeah, after that, yeah, then DBMS will do its job. So here you can see these two cylinders. Look at the picture, two cylinders. The right cylinder store the database, the business data, primary, remember, the primary data we are talking about, left-hand side, secondary data, the metadata, right? Yeah. So the database definition, that part, yeah, the left cylinder, right cylinder, they are in separate locations, two separate locations. Yeah. But we don't need to know, right? Yeah. We as programmers, we just send commands and we see the results. That's what we need. Yeah. But behind the scene, things are organized in this way. Okay, yeah. For your understanding. Okay. For your understanding. Yeah. All right. Yeah. So that is the, some visual arrangement, yeah, for our database system. Visual arrangement. Yeah. Okay. All right. Because this background later, when we learn other technologies, we need to use this background. Yeah. SQL compilation, we need to use this background. You need to compile SQL commands. We need to use this concept. Yeah, I mean, you know, this background. Yeah. All right. Okay. Application programs of databases. This time, now we need to see what do we need to do inside application programs. Yeah. All right. An application program accesses the database by sending queries to the DBMS. Yeah. Yeah. In this class, I cannot show you examples. Yeah, but I try to find a few examples to show you. Yeah. PHP, we will work on PHP. I will give you many PHP programs. Yeah. For Java, I will give you a few. Yeah, because Java, you need to do a few more things. You need to download the driver. You need to put in a location. You need to have some IDE. Then you need to run it. Yeah, yeah. Java. Yeah, but I try to find some Java examples. If you want to run, so that's of your choice. Yeah, yeah. All right. So then, inside an application program, what we can do inside it? The first thing, create a database. Create a, yeah, that's simple because we know that's just how to create just, oh, sorry. Just execute a SQL statement. Okay. Yeah. Just execute SQL statement for all of these things. Yeah. All these things by SQL statements. Create a database, a SQL statement. Create a table, a SQL statement. All right. Create a stored procedure, call a stored procedure. These two things, yeah. These two things, I need to explain more. Yeah. These two things belong to some advanced concept. Advanced. Yeah. We will learn a little more. Yeah. Stored procedure. Advanced. Okay. Advanced. Yeah. All right. And do other regular queries. Yeah. You know. Yeah. Yeah. But inside our application programs. All right. Yeah. So here, yeah. Here you can see, yeah, actually you can do a lot of things in your application programs. Yeah. Pretty much everything you can, everything by SQL you can do. Yeah. All right. Yeah. The capability. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Yeah. But actually the capability, you can do all those things, but related to the business. Sometimes you may not allow to do something, right? Yeah, based on the business decisions. You do not have the privilege to do some of the things, right? Think about for a business, you as a programmer, you may not be allowed to create a database. Okay, creating a database, then you may need a high-level privilege. You can do it. Otherwise, the programmers may create large number of databases, right? Yeah, that resource should be controlled. Okay, should not be given to all the programmers, right? Yeah, things like that. Business decision. Okay? The capability is there. Okay, yeah, but you may not have the permission, the privilege to do it. Yeah. All right. Yeah. So here, that's the, yeah, let me see. Yeah, because based on this, Yeah, I still have a few minutes. Let me see how many slides do I have? Yeah. Oh. Yeah. So here you can see, yeah, I jumped too fast. Yeah. Because I missed, yeah, here, 2 slides here. See? Yeah. Yeah. I remember I jumped, yeah. I jumped the second part. The first part, yeah. I need to come back. Yeah. Yeah. For some reason, I work on the first part. First part, 8.1, advanced features of the, I have 3 slides, 8.1. Yeah. So, because these concepts very important. Yeah. The remaining 10 something minutes, let me just talk about transaction of DBMS. Yeah. This is another important concept. Yeah. Yeah, I remember. Because that's stored procedure. Yeah. I need to talk a lot about that stored procedure. All right. Yeah. So let me explain this transactions in DBMS. This is a big concept, yeah, important. Okay. Yeah. The concept in DBMS concept quite different from our understanding of our daily life transaction. When you go to the banking, you do transactions, right? Yeah. You know, many different places you do transactions. But in our DBMS concept, our transaction concept much stronger. You know, we have a lot of specifics we need to put in this concept. Yeah, much more than the usual transaction concept. Yeah, yeah. Here, yeah. Let me give you that and explain why we need that. Define a business task. Now here, in our business, we need to do a large number of business tasks, right? Yeah. Here, let's consider one business task. In one business task, we may need to do many different operations, right? And for those operations, they may correspond to many SQL statements. Here, let's just imagine one task we need to execute a sequence of database accesses. Yeah. A sequence of database queries, actually, here. Yeah. Sequence of database queries. Yeah. And the queries can modify the data. The query could modify the data. Yeah. How about that? Yeah. Read and write, you know, all those operations mixed in certain order. Right. All right. The important thing is for that particular business task, these queries cannot be separated. Cannot be separated. All right? Yeah. If you separate them, something could be wrong. If due to some reason you just execute halfway and do something else, then when you come back to execute the remaining queries, then something could be wrong. Why? Because when you do something else, the data could be modified, right? Could be more. Then when you come back, the data could be messed up. You don't want data messed up. Okay? How do you guarantee the data is never messed up? Only when you execute the sequence of query statements as a whole, never separated, you can guarantee your data is not messed up. Otherwise, Otherwise, you do part of work here, part of work there, several different places. Then when you come back, data messed up. So this situation is very important in the business world, critical. So for that reason, so in the business, in order to make sure the data is always consistent, or the data integrity is always protected, okay? So you need to do your database access in the right way. How do you guarantee and protect the right way to work on the databases? This transaction concept is created. You need to follow the rules for this transaction inside, required by this transaction concept. Then you can protect your data. Okay? Yeah. All right. So let me explain. Give you a concrete example here. Example: a sequence of banking transactions. In banking transactions, think about, you need to manage your money, the company, the money from multiple accounts, right? Retrieve from this account and make deposit in a different account. You need to do a lot of operations. Here, although I can say transactions, banking transactions. But I do not want you to get confused, because banking transactions and our database transactions, they are two different concepts. Banking transaction, when you retrieve money from one account, that's called one transaction, right? Then when you make a deposit into another account, it's another transaction, right? That's a banking transaction. Our database transaction, these two different banking transactions we put together, we treat as one whole database transaction. We do not separate. That's our database transaction. Okay? Because if we separate, something could be wrong. Okay? You retrieve certain amount of money from the first account, but before you make a deposit in a second account, the system is down due to some earthquake, for example. Tornado, earthquake, some reason, the system breaks suddenly, and you cannot make a deposit into another account. Where do you put that money? Think about that. You take it out, but you couldn't make a deposit. Where do you put that money? You cannot put it in your pocket, right? Think about it. For the company business, you cannot put it in your pocket. All right? Yeah. How to protect that situation? So our database transaction concept is designed to protect if that happens. Now, you need to go back, rewind. You need to, recover to the previous state. Do not retrieve from the previous account. All right? Yeah. Go back, roll back. We call the roll back. Roll back to the very beginning. You do not do anything at the beginning before you call the transaction. Okay? Roll back to that point. Roll back to the very beginning, that point, before you call a transaction. Then no damage. You won't do the damage. Otherwise, if you do part of it, if you do part of your transaction, you may cause some damage in your data. So that's the concept. Okay? All right. Yeah. All right. So let me explain a few more minutes. So then we complete it. Yeah. Withdraw from account A, deposit in account B. Yeah. You do not want to separate these two operations. You want to treat them as a whole. You want to treat these two operations as one integral operation. It cannot be separated. Okay? Always do these two operations at the same time. If you cannot do two together, you have to go back to the beginning point, do nothing. So the philosophy is nothing or whole. That's your only two options. Nothing or whole. If you cannot do the whole operation, then we do nothing. That's the philosophy. Okay? All right. Yeah. No separation between them. Yeah. How to implement a transaction. Yeah. This implementation detail. Yeah. Yeah. So today I may not have a lot of time to expand this. Yeah. Yeah. Let me just give you the, introduction. Later, I may expand a little more this implementation part. Yeah. Define, in order to implement a transaction, you need to define the starting point of transaction. Where do you start a transaction, right? Starting point. Yeah. All right. Then after that, you provide a sequence of queries for the task. Yeah. Any number of queries, you put it after that starting point. Yeah. Then at the end, you need to tell the DBMS the end of the transaction. Okay? The starting point and end point. You need to specify those 2 points to define one whole block of queries for one transaction. That logic. Yeah. All right. At the end, commit transaction. Commit. Okay. This commit means you can execute the block of the code. Yeah. Before the commit, you do not execute any code. This commit tells DBMS execute the whole block of code. The whole block of code. Okay? Yeah? Okay. All right. Yeah. If something is wrong, yeah, something could happen. If something is wrong, you need to roll back to before that starting point. You define a starting point, right? But you roll back to the point right before that starting point, not after. Okay? After you do something, right? So right before that starting point. Okay? Because you want to do nothing. You roll back, you want to do nothing. Yeah. Yeah. So that's the idea. Okay. Yeah. All right. Yeah. So the properties, yeah, a few more things. Yeah. Yeah. Let me explain next time. Yeah. Yeah, because this is very important concept. I like to give you a little more information. Yeah. Yeah. And later, I try to find a Java example to show you how to do it. Yeah. Because Java, all these things are clearly defined. PHP, yeah, I can also find a PHP example. Yeah. But the Java, you will see the way is different. Yeah. Java, it has this structure clearly. Yeah. PHP, it's different. Yeah. All right. Yeah. So let me stop here for today. Yeah.